Pleasure now to be joined by head basketball coach Tom Wood of the HSU Lumberjacks. All right, Coach, we're almost to the halfway point of league, and I'm still trying to figure this team out. Have you figured out what this team is yet?
I was going to ask you if you figured them out. Let me know. Yeah, I think we have. I think we're coming to grips with who it is that we want to be and how it is we want to play. Having said that, one thing that is a concern to me that as hard as we play at times, there have been some hiccups along the way where we looked out there and all of a sudden it looks like we haven't practiced at all. But I think the kids are getting the point now that we need to come out and play extremely hard. We need to have some toughness to our game, and if we do that, then we have a chance to beat anybody on our schedules. The flip side is, if you don't, then anybody on our schedule is going to beat us.
Can you tell going into a night, I think the team's got it tonight, or they don't?
I think so. Sometimes I think you can almost, you can smell it in the locker room. You can almost feel it in the locker room. Just last week, for example, we had a tough Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of practice coming back from San Bernardino, Pomona, where I just didn't think we showed up and played with the right kind of enthusiasm or toughness. So we try to make that point Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and probably no one, including the coaching staff, had any fun during that practice. Thursday in the locker room, you could just see it. We were ready to go, and I think it showed from the opening tip to the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you guys played 80 minutes of dominant basketball, and for the last 10 years, this decade of success that you've brought to Humboldt State, Coach, it's always been about offense. But boy, this weekend, defense stood out for all the right reasons.
Yeah, we're kind of perplexed by it a little bit. Our style hasn't changed that much. I think the teams in our league are really intent on trying to slow us down, and they're doing a pretty good job. I've always contended that you can slow a team down easier than you quick the game up. As hard as we're trying and pressing, the game is not going at a fast enough pace for me, for our liking. But the flip side is we're playing very good defense. There's been a number of times this year at halftime, we'll full-court press and play 94 feet of basketball. At halftime, look up and they got 18, 19, 20 points. So not quite sure why that's all about either, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of shutting them down.
Zach Tiedemann said something interesting when I talked to him after the game on the broadcast on Saturday night, and I asked him about the defense. And, I was looking for an X's and O's answer, and he said, JB, 90% of it is simply effort. That's what defense is all about.
It certainly is, and somehow or another, when we full court press, it requires a great deal of energy. And what I really admire about this team is that when we come back and have to go into the half court, we don't rest for a minute. Where we get right back at it. So offensive teams don't have any time to set things up or relax a little bit out there and get themselves going. So it's always pressure in their face, and I think that's been one of the reasons we've been successful as of late.
On the flip side of the ball, let's refer back to the Stanislaus game. First half, they've got this, 1-2-2 zone or whatever, but they're really zoning you hard, and you broke them, and you made it look easy. Second half, they decided to go, man, you broke them. You made it look easy. That had to feel good, and at least from where we sat, no matter what they threw at you, you took care of it offensively.
Well, we try to. After all, it's almost February, so we ought to be able to run our zone offense or run our man-to-man offense, and we ought to be able to break different presses. We've seen pretty much everything there is to see in the game of basketball, and we're kind of a veteran team. I've got enough guys from last year, so I think all that's putting together or coming together to the point where if someone wants to come out and do a gimmick defense, I think we have a plan to attack it.
Okay, talking to Brian Morris after Thursday's game, he said something that I thought was interesting. We said, Brian, sometimes we see you out there and you look great. Other times there's some question marks. And he said the difference for him is I played with Zach Tiedemann. He said as a whole, as a team, when Zach Tiedemann's on the court, everyone else is better.
Without a doubt.
Why?
He gives us confidence. He gives the coaching staff confidence. He runs the show. He's a quarterback. He's Brett Favre, as opposed to me out there playing quarterback. I mean, it just gives us a sense of confidence that when he says Air Force 42 blue, it's what we need to be doing. And if that doesn't work, he's going to make a play that makes one of his teammates better, or he's going to make a shot. So, without a doubt, he's I hate to use this cliche, but he's the straw that stirs the drink. And he's not in there. We're certainly not as capable, or doesn't seem as confident.
Does he get to call his own plays? Obviously, we see a lot of times, you call motion or UCLA, but that's not obviously every time down the court. Does he have the leeway a lot of times to call Air Force 42 or whatever?
Sure, he does. He certainly, and so does any of our point guards.
Okay.
They come down, they want to run something, I let them do it, and better work more often than not. But at the same time, it's they have the best seat in the house. They're out there, they're playing. I'm sitting over there next to you, and we see something that looks like it might work. From their perspective, it may not. And if they decide that they should do something different, I give them free rein on that.
Okay, Brian Morse, he's perplexed a lot of us this year because sometimes you look great and sometimes you kind of wonder what's going on out there. But like he said, when he plays with Zach, he plays better. As a coaching staff, have you guys maybe bought into the fact or realized maybe we need Brian out with Zach because we get 2-for-1 deal when he's out there?
Well, I think there's been a couple of games this year that he played very well when Zach was on a different platoon. So
Okay.
I'm not sure that's 100% correct,
Okay.
but if in his mind it is, it probably is. One of the things I think in his defense, he's been hampered by a couple injuries. He has a knee problem that's not 100% sure. That's not allowed him to stay in the best condition. There have been days, a week off here and there, and he's a good keeper. He's like that horse in the barn. He's half a bale of hay and he's fat. So I hope he's not listening to that. But Brian has a little trouble with that, so we got to get him in shape. Got to get his abs in shape so he can stay bent over. And when he does that, I think he's going to be a nice player.
Okay, I've got Shannon Childs coming on a little later in the show. Just tell me about the trainer and what he means to you and your coaching staff and the players.
Well, it's extremely important to have someone like Shannon. He gives us bad news too often. When somebody's hurt, he always comes back and tells us what's wrong, and we'd like to say he's just a headache or something like that. It's not necessarily the truth, but Shannon's wonderful. The guys really respect him. They know he's here for them, and as a coaching staff, he and his staff, I think, are really important to us.
Who's got the final word? Him, the player, or you?
That's him.
Okay.
I mean, he's the guy that's a professional. If there's a question, more often than not, he's going to get a second opinion from a doctor, and that's what he's trained to do.
Coach, thank you. Humboldt State Tonight.
In a world of financial unrest, Coast Central Credit Union remains financially strong and secure. In fact, thanks to our members, we have continued to grow. Whether you need to borrow money or need another financial service, we'll always be here for you, and you'll sleep easier at night. Isn't it time you talk to a real local lender?
Coast Central Credit Union.
3 wides to the right side, 1 to the left.
What does greatness taste like?
Steps up, heaves the ball.
Step up and order a Miller Lite aluminum pint with a wide opening to deliver that true Pilsner taste.
Down into the end zone. It's going to be a tip ball. He got it! Unbelievable, and it's going to be a touchdown! This is unbelievable!
There's light beer, and then there's triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
We thought last week was unbelievable. This is unbelievable!
Do you like authentic New York style pizza? Come down and enjoy Big Pete's Pizza in Arcata on the corner of 15th and G Street, or our new Eureka location off the 101 on 5th and R Street. Big Pete's has 12 beers on tap, 10 big flat screen TVs, and arcade games for the kids. Call us up for delivery anytime and let us bring you the finest pizza the North Coast has to offer. That's right, we deliver. Call us in Arcata at 826-1890 or in Eureka at 441-1151.
All right, time now to give away some free pizza courtesy of Big Pete's Pizza. We are in the training room where the players get fixed up. They get the ankles taped so they don't get hurt. All right, here's the question. When the player does get hurt and needs to see the doctor, who do they go see? Who is HSU's team doctor? Send your answer to jb@jbmathers.com, and the winner will get a free pizza courtesy of Big Pete's Pizza, Eureka, and Arcata.